Hey, Fish Fam, how's it going? My name is Matt, and welcome back to Glassbox Hatchery. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the CW217 Cory. As a little bit of a disclaimer, there's not much known about them. They were recently starting to get imported into the United States as of November, December of 2025. So everything I'm going to talk about is my opinion based upon what I've been able to find online, some of the people I've been able to talk to, and really just what we know about other Corys from that same area. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. CW217 Corydoras don't just come from the Amazon. They come from very specific Clearwater stretches of the Rio Tomo, deep in the upper Rio Negro basin. Collectors won't give up the exact locations, breeders can't reliably produce them, and even when they do spawn, we still don't fully understand why. Today I'm going deep: habitat, seasons, water chemistry, what has worked for some people, and why the CW217s remain one of the biggest question marks in Corydora keeping. CW217s are associated with the upper Rio Negro tributaries, primarily the Rio Tomo, which runs through southern Venezuela before feeding into the Negro system. What's important and often misunderstood is that these fish are not coming from classic Blackwater channels. Most reports point to small Clearwater sections of the Rio Tomo, high visibility, very soft water, low connectivity, less tannin staining than the main Rio Negro. These are shaded forest streams with sandy bottoms, sparse leaf litter, gentle flow, and heavy seasonal fluctuation. That combination, Clearwater chemistry with Negro basin softness, is a big clue to why CW217s behave the way that they do. We reached out to multiple transshippers who work this region, and the response was consistent. Local fishermen are not giving up exact collection sites. These streams are remote, hard to access, and economically valuable. Protecting those locations protects their livelihood. So for aquarists, we're left piercing together habitat data from importer notes, comparable Rio Tomo species, and the way that these fish are behaving in captivity. These Cory are shaped by seasonality more than parameters. During the dry season, when water levels drop, streams fragment into isolated pools, temperatures stay warm, and chemistry stays extremely stable. And during the wet season, rain slowly dilutes the system, connectivity drops even further, oxygen rises, and new food sources appear. This is not a violent change, it's a gradual, predictable, and sustained one. That pattern matters more than any single number. Based on Clearwater Rio Tomo conditions and comparable species, we're keeping ours from 78 to 82 degrees, with a pH of around 6 to potentially 7, the hardness of being about 2 for GH. And when it comes to TDS, we're keeping it quite low, around 100, but that will fluctuate between the different seasons. The CW217 is often compared to the Hoplisoma concolor, and that comparison actually makes a lot of sense. Both have very similar body shapes and structure. They're both calm with deliberate movements. They're both associated with soft, low connectivity water, and notoriously they're both inconsistent at breeding. Like the concolors, the CW217s don't tolerate sloppy conditions, but they also don't tolerate brute force breeding tactics. That similarity is a big hint. These fish likely require specific seasonal cues, not just water changes. Most aquariums labeled soft water are still too mineralized. Frequent water changes, overcleaning, and chasing pH numbers disrupt the long-term stability these fish expect. These fish are going to want stability first, then slow, meaningful changes over time. When it comes to replicating those conditions of the Rio Tomo in my aquarium, here's how I'm approaching it. We're using a lot of RO water that's remineralized just enough so that we can keep a low connectivity. The temperature's held around 80 degrees right now as we're simulating the dry season, and we use fine sand for our substrate. I like using black because I think it brings out the color more than the white or tan sands. When it comes to the flow, we're keeping it quite gentle with high oxygenation, and that seems to keep us to there's zero aggression in the tank. We also have ditherfish and a couple other species of Cory in this tank, but hopefully those will get moved at some other point. And instead of doing random water changes, we're gradually removing water over a couple of days to weeks. And then when it gets ready to be time for getting them to spawn, which is typically about a week or two before a large storm incoming, will start to feed more heavily, and then we'll also add a large, ultra soft, slightly cooler water to kind of mimic rain that's coming down into that system. Here's where things get interesting. Yes, some people have gotten theirs to spawn. Eggs have been documented, and at least one person has successfully raised fry. I believe that was in Germany. But here's the key point. None of these successes have been repeatable or clearly explained. Even among people who've spawned them, there's no consistent methods. Some people do cold water changes, some have been heating their tanks up, some are using tannins, some aren't. Personally, I've not been able to get mine to spawn yet, but for what it's worth, I've only had them for a couple of weeks. I think this tells us something important. The trigger is likely subtle, seasonal, and still not fully understood. This isn't a fish you're going to crack with a single trick. The CW217s sit in a space that's rare. We know enough to keep them alive, but not enough to fully control their reproduction. I think that's exciting and humbling. It means the story of the CW217s in this hobby are still being written. This video isn't a conclusion, it's a snapshot. I'll keep documenting what works, what fails, and what I learn along the way. If you care about rare Corydoras, habitat level fish keeping, and honest experimentation, subscribe to the channel and follow the journey. The CW217 deserves nothing less. I mean, look at how beautiful they are. Thanks for your time.